Hey, what's going on everyone? My name is Tamer and welcome back to another episode of iTalk Tech. So as you guys can probably see, we have the iPhone 7 in black over on the left, and we have the Galaxy S7 Edge in gold over here onto the right. And you're probably thinking, Tamer, what are you going to possibly do with these two phones? Well, the biggest things that you guys request from me every year between the iPhones and the Galaxy S7s, or just actually the Galaxy line in general, is to do a speed test between them and see which one is faster. Now, both these phones, as a disclaimer, are very fast, but just to have some fun, we're going to go ahead and check out this speed test and see which phone really truly is faster. So the first thing we're going to do is do a fingerprint test. Now we're going to have both these phones unlocked on their lock screens, and we're going to go ahead and place our thumbs on the scanner. So ready, set, go. So as you can see, they're relatively the same. The Galaxy S7 Edge on the hand has a really quick animation, almost like no animation, when it's going from the lock screen to the home page. The iPhone 7 on the other hand does have a slight animation, making it seem slower. Now we'll go ahead and run this one more time, except this time we're going to have them both turned off, and then we're going to click their home buttons and see how long it takes for them to unlock that way. So ready, set, go. So as you can see, based on that, the iPhone 7 was quicker in that trial. So basically, if you have your phone off and you click it and you let it stay there, the iPhone 7 will unlock it a little bit quicker than the Galaxy S7 Edge. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to our next test, which are running Geekbench 4. Now Geekbench 4 will give us basically a number on how good our CPU is and how good our GPU is, giving us like a rough score of how big of a performance our phones are. So we're going to go ahead and open up Geekbench 4 over here, and we're going to go ahead and run their CPU benchmarks. So as you can see, the iPhone 7 finished up its test way before the Galaxy S7 Edge did, and it scored actually a pretty decent 3,485 single-core score and a 5,624 multi-core score. Now these are pretty big improvements on the iPhone 7 in terms of processing power, especially in that multi-core score. Now usually what happens in previous iPhone 7 releases and Galaxy lineups is that the iPhone would usually have a higher multi-core score than the Galaxy S7 Edge, but would usually fall back in terms of multi-core score. So we're gonna have to really see in terms of the Galaxy S7 Edge what it can pull off and see if it can beat it in any terms of single-core score or multi-core score. Alright, so the Galaxy S7 Edge just finished up its benchmark test, and as you can see, the scores are pretty crazy. So the Galaxy S7 Edge came in with 1,708 single-core score compared to the iPhone 7's 3,485. I mean, that's almost half of the score. Now if we look at the multi-core score, I'm getting 4,048 on the Galaxy S7 Edge, whereas on the iPhone 7 we're getting 5,624. So in terms of raw processing power, the iPhone 7 is just killing it in Geekbench 4. Now Geekbench 4 doesn't really mean anything, this is just a number. It really comes up to what happens in real life, how fast apps load, how fast export times are, how fast it can demand graphics in games. So we're going to be doing that in later tests. Alright, now to test the real performance of these two phones, we need to give it something demanding. Something like exporting video, adding filters, making the time, slowing down a video. All these things are really demanding on the processing and the GPU. So what are we going to do? Well, I have a video on both of these devices that's about 21 seconds long. It's just a straight up black video, nothing really, it's just 1080p and it's flat. So we're going to be putting these through Adobe Premiere Clip, an app available on both these phones. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be basically slowing down the video, so taking it from 20 seconds to about maybe a minute and 20 seconds, just as slow as Adobe can handle it, and then we're going to be applying a filter on top of that, and then we're going to be saving it back onto the device. Now we're going to be seeing how long it takes to save those two clips back onto the device with the new format. So I'm going to go ahead and start this test. Now you guys might be thinking, oh Tamer, you started the iPhone later than the Galaxy S7 Edge. Well, it doesn't really matter which I started like a second or not. You'll see right now that the iPhone is just gonna really outpace the Galaxy S7. So as you can see, the iPhone 7 finished way before the Galaxy S7 Edge in terms of saving the video. As you can see, the Galaxy 7 Edge is not even halfway through finishing saving the video. This is crazy. This just shows you the amount of power the iPhone 7 is pushing through it. Now, I did something else for fun. I basically took that video that I exported, that was 1:20, then I slowed it down, added another filter on top of that just to see if it could beat the Galaxy S7 Edge while it's still doing the first video. So let's go ahead and see how that works. Alright, so the Galaxy S7 Edge just finished, and as you can see, it took a long time. Now, if you look at it in comparison with the iPhone finished its first video and is almost 75 to 80% done exporting the second video, which is a lot more demanding since it's a bigger amount of time. It's about roughly 3 to 4 minutes, and it has another filter on top of that. I mean, that's just crazy. That just shows you the power of the iPhone 7. The Galaxy 7 Edge is not a slow device, but it just shows you their performance in terms of one another. Alright, so we're going to be heading off into the next section of this speed test. We're going to be opening up a couple of apps and seeing which one opens them up quicker. So we're going to start off with everyone's favorite app, Amazon. I mean, I basically have my whole life into Amazon. So we're going to go ahead and see which one opens quicker. So ready, set, go. So it looks like the Galaxy S7 Edge seemed to be just a hair quicker than the iPhone 7. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Now we're going to keep these apps left in the background so we can open up some more apps. We're not going to close them and then cancel out their threads or go into multitasking and cancel them out. We're just going to keep them in the background running. So the next thing we're going to open up is Temple Run 2. So we'll go ahead and open that up. So ready, set, go. Alright, now this is a game. Now let's see which one will load games up quicker. So it seems like the iPhone 7 is starting to load faster than the Galaxy S7 Edge. And it does look like the iPhone 7 will finish roughly maybe about 1-2 seconds. No, about maybe 2.5 to 3 seconds after the Galaxy S7 Edge. So the iPhone 7 is quicker to open up Temple Run 2. So that gives you a little bit of information about how games will run. So the next one we're going to open up is Spotify. So let me just find Spotify over here. So Spotify, ready, set, go. Well, let's see which one opens this one up. So it looked pretty similar. I think they opened up at the same time. I mean, in these tests, it's really hard to see which one opened up faster because they're all in nanoseconds and milliseconds, and your eye just can't look at two screens at the same time and see what's the difference. I mean, for me, I'm gonna call this a draw. It looked like they both opened up at the same time and loaded up the thumbnails of the different tracks at the same time. So this one I'm gonna call it a draw. So the next one we're going to be doing is the camera. So the next app we're going to be opening up is the camera. We're going to open up and ready, set, go. So as you can see, they were pretty instantaneously. I mean, they looked exactly the same. Let's see what it takes to look at picture. So ready, set, go. Yep, about the same thing. Load up the gallery. A little bit of a stutter right there on the Galaxy S7 Edge. Not really a stutter, but just like a difference in the speed. It's really a nanosecond, basically, a millisecond. It's really not that big of a deal. But there you go. There is the camera app. And the last thing we're going to be doing is opening up Instagram by itself. So let's go ahead and find Instagram. Instagram is right here. Ready, set, go. So it looked like they were almost exactly the same. The iPhone 7 kind of showed up the screen a little bit quicker than the Galaxy S7 Edge, but in terms of updating and refreshing their content, it was exactly the same, and they both showed the latest picture at exactly the same time. So that kind of gives you a glimpse at what it's like in terms of opening apps. But now we're really going to test the multitasking on these two phones. Now the iPhone 7 comes with 3 GB of RAM, which is a new thing for Apple, whereas the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge comes with 4 GB of RAM. So we're going to open up a bunch of apps, and then we're going to go and see how long it takes to reopen those apps back up. Alright, now for the multitasking test, we have like a bunch of apps open. We have a couple over here on the iPhone 7, as well as a couple over here on the Galaxy S7 Edge. Now all we're going to do is we're going to open these apps back up one more time and seeing which will load them faster. Now if the phone has good memory usage and RAM usage, the apps should be running in the background and they'll instantly pop up. But if the phone can't handle it, it will have to restart the app. So as you can see, the iPhone 7 and the Galaxy S7 Edge are pretty on par in terms of speed tests. Now, there are in some situations where the iPhone 7 is slightly quicker than the Galaxy S7 Edge in terms of just opening apps and the opening animations, whereas the Galaxy S7 Edge, when you open up an app, it tends to sit there for like a second and then opens up the app. But overall, they seem to be pretty on par, and I've only tested these with maybe about 10, 15 apps open at the same time. Now, this could be slightly different if 30 apps are open at the same time, as that's when the RAM starts to kick up, and it's like, okay, I'm reaching the maximum RAM. But usually, most people don't have 30 apps open at the same time. It's kind of crazy how you would even have more than 30 apps on your phone. I mean, I barely even have maybe 20 apps always on my phone. So yeah, there you go. In terms of performance, there really isn't that big of a difference. In terms of Geekbench 4, we saw that there was a really big difference in terms of multi-core performance, which you might be able to see in better gameplay on the iPhone 7 compared to the Galaxy S7 Edge, which is why Temple Run 2 loaded up much quicker on the iPhone 7, and you should expect better gameplay on the iPhone 7. But that is not to say that the Galaxy S7 Edge is not a competent device either. It's a really great device, it's super quick, and it's, as you can see in certain things, it's on par with the iPhone 7. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please do drop a like down below. Make sure to also subscribe to this channel for more upcoming videos on the iPhone 7, as well as any other comparisons you guys want me to do with the Galaxy S7 Edge. I thank you guys so much for watching. Leave your comments down below as to what you guys think, what phone you're going to be getting, whether you're getting the iPhone 7, iPhone 7 Plus, you're going to get that Galaxy S7 Edge, the Galaxy Note 7 that just blows up all the time. So yeah, leave your comments down below. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.